what is the cost of creating a season of The Big Focus?
So the first 3 seasons was out of pocket. So there you're looking at 3-4 lakhs an episode with the entire team at the lowest end.
Oh my God.
What was your first introduction to content?
The starting story is like in 2019, a friend said, hey, you should make content because you two don't shut up.
I think that friend was Jordanian, right?
Yeah. We made the Bombay season. The first Bombay season, of course, was lost. And we had gold. We got hammered with Ravi Shastri at the Harbour Bar. And the amount of stuff he said and the scenario we were in, all of it was. We're pretty sure the BCC found our hard drive and fried it.
How many people are involved in these episodes?
If I remember correctly, it's about 12 people. That number, in certain cases in Bangalore, shot up to 20 people.
Wow.
Also, what's really odd here was like the number of assistants everybody has. A director has an assistant director who has another gaffer. Each camera guy has one assistant to hold their lens. I was like, we shot an episode, a mini season in Texas. I shot that with 3 people. So
Yeah, but why not do that?
nobody does it here. Everybody's like, I need an assistant. A big crew makes you feel sort of cool. Like, ooh, I'm in the big league. Stupidest shit you can ever do.
When is the next season coming out?
Somebody very big that owns almost every company in this country has put their finger into this conversation.
Whoa.
Northeast happens, it's almost at 2.5.
Seer.
Yeah. I think it's going to happen unless Big Boy takes it away.
Before we get into the episode, I want to share something with you. 83% of you that listen to the show haven't yet subscribed. The biggest challenge to making content is staying motivated. And numbers go a long way in doing that. So if I could ask you for one simple favor, it would be to click on the subscribe button wherever you are listening to us. It only takes 2 seconds for you, but means the world to us while we bootstrap our way to our first 1,000 subscribers. Now let's jump into the episode. First of all, I just really want to thank you for coming on. I think it was a very sort of wild idea that I had one day watching your video saying that, hey, you are one of my favorite YouTubers and I would love to have you. And I don't know if you remember, but so I wrote the email and then I just like took a selfie thinking that will be the differentiator. Like they look at the selfie and be like, oh yeah, we want to talk to this guy. And we were never expecting you guys to, I was never expecting you guys to reply back. But thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Sometimes shit comes through the firewall that we've built. And then you're like, what are we talking to? And it's like, oh, this is really good. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Right. For this episode, I have kind of, we went to the deep end, right? I looked at almost everything that I could find where you had featured a lot of the videos on the YouTube, on your channel. I realized that a lot of people, when they talk to you, they always start off with, hey, like, where did it all start, right?
Yeah.
I think that story has been talked about fairly enough. So I want to take like a alternate route and I want to start off with a picture, right?
Do I feel like I need to have hot ones? Like this is I love it, right? It's a food world. We should have hot ones and I should be salivating.
I want to start off with this picture and I'm not sure if this was the first picture, but I noticed that you have been using the hashtag Philanderer for a very long time, right? This is, I think, from 2017. If I'm not wrong.
Holy shit, that's really good. It's got a very funny story.
Right. I would love to know the genesis of that hashtag because it seems like the precursor to the Big Forkers.
Yeah, you're right. And I can't believe you saw that picture and you started with that. So anyways, Philandering Foker. So I decided one day I want to write blogs and didn't know anything about it. First thing was like find a name. That's what I read. This is the to-do list. So I was trying to figure out what to write. And then, so I asked my cousin, who's the only one who writes the best in our family. I was like, dude, I need a name. Like, can you come up with something quirky? So we threw names back at each other and the philandering stuck because I don't know if I qualify as a full philanderer, but I have definitely lived a bit of a colorful life. Traveled, lived everywhere, etc., etc. So it's like philandering. And then I didn't want it to be philandering as in PH, so we changed it to food. So Philandering Focus started. So that was the original blog, which I caused a lot of trouble with here and there. And that's where the genesis comes. So that, and when we were looking for the name of the show, I sort of took from Philandering Foker, took homage from there. I was like, all right, we can make it the Big Fokers or the Big Fuckers. Now, fuckers would not pass any of the standard and practices of YouTube or any TV show for that matter. So we landed up with the big focus. But I have to tell you something about that photo. Can people see this photograph?
Please. Yeah.
Can they see it? You
Yeah,
should
of course,
let
it's
them
my
know.
mom.
We'll put it up on
Yeah,
screen.
we'll put it
Okay,
up.
so this is my mom. This is really funny, right? So we landed really late night in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh, and we all got to a hotel. There was no food, right? And we just misplanned everything. My mom had joined us from the US. My kids were really small, so the only food we could order to the hotel was a pho, right? You know what a pho is?
No.
It's a Vietnamese. It's a Vietnamese noodle soup.
Oh, okay.
It's written PHO, but it's pronounced pho.
Pho.
So now with a pho, you usually get mint, chilies, and and lemons. There's a accoutrement you add it on top. So the kids ate it, and then we had a bottle of booze with us, right? And everybody's like, "We got no food. Let's have a drink." So my mom's like, "I've got an idea." So she takes the vodka, and she puts the lemon and all the ingredients of the pho. And then she came up with a name for it. She just called it Phadke because vodka, pho, and vodka is on Phadke. Then ever since in our house, we're like, who wants a Phadke? Yeah, and that's my mom, the Phadke creator.
The one thing that I have noticed across all of your content is that it seems like you're really good at articulating yourself, right? And I heard somewhere that you have like a writing background and you also had a blog. So what was the impact of you being great at writing on all of the sort of content or media that you put out or have been putting out so far?
So no, I'm not really. I don't really have a writing background, other than if you consider the blog as one, and it was mediocre at best. I've always been an argumentative kid. There'd always been that ass in the class who would always ask the annoying question to the teacher, and having lived in so many places as a child and traveled to so many places, conversation was the one thing I could sort of get to know people, and because you had to speak through different languages and cultures. Talking to people and articulating things to explain things to people who don't exactly speak my language on a first term basis, on a first language basis, helped me, I assume, become better at it. Also, growing up on ships, I'm a merchant marine kid, you literally had to learn from a dictionary. So I was tharuring well before tharur was tharuring. Right? I feel like. It's like all my friends make fun of me for like, it depends, right? If I'm in the US or in like traveling around, they're like, what's with this fry shit you try all the time? I'm like, it's not because I'm trying. That's just how we learned and we read and it comes from reading books. So I think that's where it comes from. And the rest, when it comes to food, I'm classically trained chef before all the other life that happened. So slightly boring technical terminology.
That's another very interesting thread that you have, right? Like you were in management consulting and then you were in investment banking and then you were also a chef before that. What's the one thing that you most identify with? Is it the food part of things? Is it
the eating part of things? Like all seriousness, like I wanted to be a chef because I really love food. I love traveling, and I thought it's a great way to travel. So as a kid, you hear about great chefs, and that time you didn't have celebrity chefs. You had books you read about chefs, and then they were great travelers, right? So they would travel around the world, picking up skills from different kitchens. So I thought, well, that's one way to travel. As a kid, I had traveled all the time, and this is the only way I could afford to do it. Yeah, so I think all of that was just to eat and travel and see. So that was the link that connects everything, is my wanting to try different kinds of food. So I cooked. Then banking became management consulting. All you do is travel, and it pays for you to eat. So I thought, okay, that's a pretty smart way to do it. I feel like I finagled my way into all of these things. Articulation. Packaging bullshit in a really good way. And I'm continuing the process today.
It's been the turning point of life.
Yeah. It's every day like you're like, fuck, this doesn't work. Just swing and swing. Guy, can you tell them to not use the mixie for just a little while longer?
Also, if people are wondering what is happening, we are in kitchen.
Listen, you're in a live kitchen. We're going through tastings and testings and whatnot when we're about to launch a restaurant. Not we, it's me with some other friends. Shanky, where's Shanky?
Shanky.
Oh, yeah, we need to get
Shanky has been missing from the podcast.
That fruit. Throw it here, I'll catch.
Catch.
Throw it.
Nice catch.
So here Shanky couldn't make it for this recording,
Right.
people,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
I wanted to use a coconut. We are a Thai restaurant, but I couldn't find a coconut because they've cracked them all. So I've got a shriveled passion fruit. This is
Yeah, we
Shanky
can just
sitting
put it
next to
there.
me.
Shanky.
Perfect.
Shanky is there.
Yeah, this is my Wilson. Castaway.
We'll
You guys
add
get
it.
that reference?
Yeah.
No, you guys are old enough to get the reference.
But like, where do you get this energy from? Like, you're very sort of raw and true to yourself, right? The one word that I kept thinking when I was scrolling through your Instagram, and the four things that sort of came up were family, food, and just like what was happening around you. Even as back as 2016, it did not seem like you were trying to put on a show, right? You were not putting out these pictures or posts for anyone else. Like literally, if we look at some of your posts, there's one with Stanley. There's one of like a trash can somewhere in, I think, Vietnam.
This is Vietnam, yeah.
Then there's just like a carpet.
A stupid carpet I bought
Then
when I was drunk. That's in China, in Shenzhen, at my friend's bar.
yeah,
Right.
and then I wanted to talk about this.
Yeah, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, there's more pictures there. Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
so you've always clearly been very like unapologetically you, right?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I don't know any other way. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm pre the age of polished versions of yourself. Obviously, Facebook started changing that. Everybody shows the best of your version. And I thought that was boring. And I always thought I had an audience of one me. So it was that or my wife, like, or my mom or somebody was thinking. Always as an expat, you have friends that live in America. I grew up in China. I grew up in America, lived in China. So I thought my friends can see what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. And that was my little prism that I look from, my window of life. And that's what I think we've stayed true to, not by design, just by habit. And when it comes to content and when consciously we fight back to go back to our true selves, like during the lifetime of this show, which is now whatever, 4 years old, 5 years old, we have seen ourselves sometimes trying to change because of feedback and response and what maybe a sponsor partner wants. And we've done nothing but hate ourselves for it. So when we see it, we're like, what fucking shit, how crap you have made, right? And then we try to go back to ourselves and just be just what you see in front of you.
Before, I want to double tap there also. Can we know the backstory to this picture? Because
Yeah.
this was
So this gets crazier. All right. So what happened was when we got married, I almost missed my own wedding. I made it to the courthouse with like 4 minutes to things. So I had like, all right, we'll throw a wedding. This is in China, in Shenzhen. My wife's a classical musician. She travels a lot. I was traveling a lot. We couldn't get a party going. Like our wedding party took 10 years to happen. Because I have family in the US, in Florida. She's from Poland and Georgia. I live in China. Mom and dad live in Houston. And I have some relatives in India. Where the fuck is this wedding going to be, right? And I can't afford to have like 8 weddings. So we're like, no wedding. We're just going to party with everybody. So this was our 10th anniversary. We're like, let's do something. And it's me. I can't do something normal. I was actually sitting in a hospital 1 week before this, because you'll see me with a walking stick. I was in a hospital. Some pictures in this series you'll see. And I was like coming up with it, pump me up with so many medication. I was like, I'm going to come up with some wild shit. So we decided to do Narcos, the series, and we did our version. So what you see is just the entrance, but there was a massive full billboard, which was me, the wife, and then we made the billboard to look like we're all drug dealers. And it was either you were, the guests were either told to come as drug dealers, Colombian mafia, cartel, or corrupt cops. So people decided to take it in many different directions. I had a lot of friends who were sort of business leaders and whatnot, dressed in very racy outfits, running around. We had fake ice, fake sugar as some powder, as you see.
right.
And then we had people running around with BB guns, plastic BB guns. So we had this fake dollars under certain plates. So there's a famous line in the show called Pomo e Plato, lead or money or silver, which means either you get shot or if they didn't pick up they couldn't understand what it was, somebody would shoot them from the back. So he's walking around and people got drunk and started shooting each other a lot. Yeah, it was an insane party.
Right.
What was your first introduction to content?
Yeah.
When did you realize, oh, I'm a content creator? Maybe like,
Or you
I
want
don't
to
think
make
it was
videos.
like,
21 years ago, no, 24 years ago, Discovery Channel was born. And at that time we had to pay like cable boxes in the US, and you could have a package. So I was like $14 a month for this package. But then I turned it on and I saw a food show. So I wrote to them, and I'd been a chef and I was just switching from chef to something that paid a lot more. So I was like, okay, I want to write a show. So I wrote a whole email to them on my Yahoo email account, or Hotmail, I think it was.
Hotmail.
And I thought I'll start creating content then. I never even got an email response. 22 years later, they contacted me to make a show. And I was like, it took a while to find this damn email. So that's my first sort of what I really loved as a content first was Bourdain, connected with him deeply. And then when the starting story is like in 2019, a friend who was traveling with us said, hey, you should make content because you two don't shut up and you talk about everything under the sun. So that's when we decided and came to India, and rest is history.
I think that friend was Jordanian, right?
Yeah. I didn't know who he was, like, right? So I had YouTube, like, who fucking watches YouTube? Also, I lived in China. There is no YouTube.
oh,
Right? We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have
Interesting.
Google. We had nothing. We had all the Chinese version, Yoku and other versions of it. We were there, and then one night he says this, and I'm like, oh, what? And he's like, oh, I make content. And I didn't even understand the concept. I'm like, you they make a TV show or not? He's like, no, we're on YouTube. I was like, home videos? Then he showed me. And then I looked underneath, there was this number. It was something like 4.5 million. I'm like, 4.5 million what? People watch it? Then I watched. It was quite funny. It's a really funny video. I was like, okay. And then every bar we went, we thought that it's going to be cool.
Right.
In Spain, we used to put their video on the thing. We're like, yeah, like we're really cool. Right? And planted in my head, I was like, yeah, I want to do shit like that. But I can't sing, I can't dance, and I don't have comic timing like Vineet.
Right.
So, yeah.
But that's very interesting that you didn't know about YouTube and like how big of a deal it was.
So, yeah, I didn't know how big of a deal. Like, it's all peripheral, right? Like, it's the same way today. If you ask me what movie, what TV show, I have zero knowledge. Like, it's to the point it's embarrassing for Shanky because it just doesn't exist in my head. Either food or work or what's happening in the investment world, and YouTube was like that to me. I'm like, I know it exists somewhere out there, but what it is, what people are doing, zero idea.
Did that change once you started making the show?
No.
No?
Because I couldn't even watch my own show. I was like, I don't want to see myself on camera. So not really. Then because of we made something and we made this one episode called House of Mandarin, which is our most controversial one.
Right.
But because of that, the algorithm picked up and another channel popped up called Demystified Chinese Cooking. So that was the first channel I started watching. Then I realized that another friend had started it. I was like, the two channels I've seen mine, of course, a little bit. And then the other one is a friend who started in Shenzhen. That's where my journey with YouTube started. And then, of course, more friends got into it. Then I started watching it. But only food content or food related, if not history stuff. All the first bencher shit. All the first bencher shit you could imagine.
When you started making so many videos on YouTube, right? Was there a turning point where you were like, hey, we tried this and it's kind of working, like let's double down?
Yeah. I mean, first we didn't know what a measure of success was, right? So we made the Bombay season. The first Bombay season, of course, was lost.
Yeah, I think people don't know this, that there are only 5 seasons on YouTube, but there's actually a sixth season. No one has ever seen.
Yeah, we shot an entire season, right? It was, I think, 8 or 9 episodes. And we had gold. I don't think I can get sued for this now. The time has passed. But we got hammered with Ravi Shastri at the Harbour Bar. And the amount of stuff he said and the scenario we were in and the wines and the just yap, all's being recorded. And the director's face when he was getting this content. Sidebar, our director, Zulfi, was very much the heart and soul of this. He has this thing he does when he's getting like what he calls mal. his tongue pops out. He's got this Jordan thing. You know, Jordan's famous for his tongue out when he does the layback. His tongue pops out and he's like, when good shit. So now we've realized like something really good's happening, his tongue is popped out. Because subconsciously you're in a conversation, right? Usko maal mil raha hai.
Yeah.
All of it was also. We're pretty sure the BCC found our hard drive and fried it.
Oh.
Yeah, the hard drive was fried. We tried to recover it. And I was meant to fly back to China. And then they said, no, wait, we have to shoot again. And I never could go back to China. And I'm still in India.
Talk us through that process of, let's say, that first season, right? You reshoot it, and then like what happens then?
We reshoot it, packaging, a lot of the edit. You see, we had gone to a couple of people and we went through this whole cycle of everybody we touched either shut down or got bought over. And that remains a thread with us even today. Like every time we're about to close a deal, something really big happens, we're like, yes. And we're already thinking about the purchases we're making and somebody acquires that fucking company or there's a merger. So we went through that entire process. We had thought nobody will want to buy this or nobody will be interested. We were quite wrong. They just met us, conversation. They were like, okay, there's something here. The company we had started, they really didn't have any idea how they were going to package it. They had a really good creative director who's become a friend now. But the owner of the company had no clue. He's like, opportunity hai. Here comes a NRI Murga. He must have LinkedIn me. He's like, he's got some money to burn. This is going to be the bank for the next couple of weeks. Because we landed up with a decent product, we then, the creative director is like, look, man, this is some serious shit. We can really... So then we worked on the edit and even I got involved in the edit. Like there's certain things that I thought in India didn't have or the stylization was different, which I was very particular about. And I wanted a little bit more of this urban New York sort of sensibility to the videos. If you see, we are very particular about art. We have a lot of line art, which is very specific to certain graphic artists in the US, especially in New York. Slightly Banksy attitude to things, slightly irreverent. So you'll have stupid shit like there's a big vat of oil. You'll have a diver diving into the vat of oil, right? We're making fun of how fat it is without directly approaching the subject. Somebody said thoda, thoda, thoda. And then, so I was like, Tora, Tora, Tora is a famous line from a World War II movie about the Japanese bombing Pearl Harbor. So we have these small things. So that's when we really thought we had something and we could incorporate this. And our best moments were when the content came out and people started watching is when they caught these little bits. And they're like, holy shit, it's like there's layers to this, right? So it was an internal thing. We like, kisi ko nahi samajh mein aayega, I'm laughing. Literary characters I've thrown in here, examples. And when people caught those is what we felt we had something.
Another thing, I don't know if you noticed this, but another thing that I really love is that you've made the producer a character in the videos, right?
Yeah.
What was the thought process behind that?
Zulfi's a darling. He's really creative, but he likes to fuck my happiness at any given opportunity. If he feels kuch nahi maal aa raha hai, he will make me miserable. Ways to make me miserable is not to follow a schedule. I am very precise about what my scheduling is. Shanky, on the other hand, is more than just complete bindas. He doesn't care. So I would yell and scream. Like I would lose my shit. But I couldn't call him director because he would lose his job. He would lose prestige in the industry. So we made up a fake producer around him. Now you know, guys.
We know the producer, finally.
Producer.
The
And then
producer
we
did
made
it.
a whole thing, producer kaun hai.
Yeah.
Then I didn't know how to put him in because, he would pop into the video sometimes because somebody would Cam 4 would make a mistake and then pan the wrong direction. And we loved those mistakes. It showed everybody a spot of, like, we wanted the show to be the conversation plus also slightly BTSy. We want everybody to feel like they're hanging out with us. Like, ye londe hai. Like, ye londe bazi chal rahi hai. So all those mistakes were highlighted. And every time he showed up, I had to put a helmet on his head. So we created him as Stig from
Top Gear.
Top Gear.
Yes.
So that's why his character looks like Top Gear and he's called producer.
Actually, I wanted to ask, why does he wear helmet around? I got my answer.
Yeah, because I had to hide his face, no? Because he wants other jobs. He's like, and we have done controversial stuff. So we're like,
Yeah.
okay, he needs another job from like a big production company.
Okay.
He can't be just our dude. Yeah.
Me as a fan, right? I love everything that you mentioned, like the small animations and the way that you have sort of attention to detail, right? How much of that do you think went into people loving your show? Because I know that, like, if I like it, I'm sure I've gone through the comments, other people also like it, right? So for someone else who wants to, let's say, make a food show on YouTube, right? Do you recommend doing things like that? Or was that like a risk that you were willing to take that maybe could not have paid off for someone else?
Let me go back to the season one, the one everybody saw. Because we had made certain mistakes, we had to cover them. So I'll give you a perfect example. It's a food show with not enough shots of food because somebody fucked up, right? Sorry, I curse a lot.
No,
it's just
it's
the way.
okay.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
open in our show. So
So Londe wale show, ye bhi Londe. So we made so many mistakes that we didn't have. So we needed all of these tropes to pull us out of a situation, and transitional shots. I have since learned these words. I don't know what they meant. So these were tropes to help us. But I also found humor in it, and I also wanted. I find content nowadays in this concept very dumbed down because they have to churn out so much content that it's just not very good and not very thought through. Generally speaking, I don't want to paint everybody with the same brush. So we did it. Now the problem with that is it's expensive. So it all depends on what space you want to live in, right? If you want to create content that you think might land up on an OTT and you want to showcase yourself on YouTube and then eventually use that as a pathway to more success or a wider audience or a general TV audience, then perhaps you can get into it. But it is an expensive risk for sure. Because each one of those things and the time it takes to go through every minute and the timing of that graphic is so important.
You don't consider yourself a YouTuber, right?
Yeah, like I don't know why, but it's in my head. The influencer and YouTuber annoys me now but I think it's just a mindset issue, right? Because it has been bastardized so much and vilified for maybe some good reason because there's so much shit content. You're talking to a guy who doesn't watch TV or movies because I think it's all shit content. It is just regurgitated crap. So, and I find it's a lot. So I think there is a negative connotation in my head, and that's why I don't like the terminology.
we have a very interesting conversation around this previously also. Numbers fucked up how we actually consume content because everybody's trying to optimize for the numbers.
Yeah.
And all those numbers are coming from, like, what the data is showing is, all these crap shows like actually work, and just like
Yeah,
producers
it's
internally
a
are making that decision.
self-fulfilling prophecy on loop and data, right? They think the data will do this, so they create more, so the data reacts to that, and the data reacts to that, the consumer reacts to that, the consumer reacts to that, and then attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. So a lot of so what you call crescendos, ups and downs, peaks in content. What used to be like a long time to build up a conversation, emotion, people just enjoying food over a certain period to build up to a peak. Then it comes down, so let the mind rest and then go. Now this shit is like this because they want to take the same data set, they want to take content and slice and dice it into 30 different reels and 30 shorts. So they are constantly looking for peaks. So what happens is you lose the meaning of in my head. I could be completely wrong. There are other content creators or really good content creators who manage to keep these threads, but far and few between. So it's the data, and then of course our response to the data and how people consume it that's become an issue.
Do you look at the data? Like, is there someone who's managing the back end?
No, that's my obsession in life. So I'm heuristically driven towards everything. Like everything is data driven to me. So I look at it, I try to understand. I don't completely act on it, but if I need to slice and dice my information and talk to an investor partner or a sponsor partner, then we really slice and dice.
But you don't make decisions for, let's say, what videos you want to make or
We
what is
should
it
be.
that
We're
the
not that
audience
smart. We're too lazy for it also. Plus, we don't create a lot of content because it's so goddamn expensive for us to do that.
Yeah, talk to us about that. Like, what is the cost of creating a season of The Big Focus?
Every season, we have incrementally gone higher because the demand so the first 3 seasons was out of pocket, right? So sometimes, like if you're shooting 4 episodes in 2 days, you have to pay the cost of the equipment and the team on a day basis, right? And then it's bata, so it increases. We would shoot as much as you could in the earlier seasons in a single day. so that your cost per episode comes down. So there you're looking at 3-4 lakhs an episode with the entire team at the lowest end.
What can you tell us, like, how many people are involved in these episodes? What the level of the production is? Because I think it's fairly large.
So I think the first season, I'm not talking about the last one, if I remember correctly, it's about 12 people involved in that shoot per episode. That number in certain cases in Bangalore shot up to 20 people, because Bangalore was shot at the time of the year where the sun was not, there was a lot of cloud, so we need proper lighting. And the lighting team was the most, the light boys. And what I also was really odd here was like the number of assistants everybody has. A director has an assistant director who has another gaffer. The camera guys, each camera guy has one assistant to hold their lens. I was like, we shot a mini season in Texas, in Austin. I shot that with 3 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why not do that
Can't-
also in
nobody
India?
does it here. Everybody's like, I need an assistant. Nobody does run and gun. There are few guys who will do run and gun, but the minute they see a food show, I'll also get into technicals for a moment.
Yes, please.
So it's manpower. Everybody needs to be employed here. Fair enough. If your total cost of production is X and you pay a little bit more, but you employ more people, fair enough. That's a bargain you're willing to keep. Second, there's a little ego hassle. I'll tell you what. A big crew makes you feel sort of cool. Like, ooh, I'm in the big league. Stupidest shit you can ever do. You have to feed everybody, you have to accommodate everybody. But there is that element of that. Third is it intimidates restaurants. With too big a crew, they don't know what the hell to do with you. So they move around, they move things around, and it looks like a set. That's why I think Bangalore is our weakest season we've done. Because it was too set, too big, too expensive, too intimidating for everybody. Delhi was shot much later. It's a much better season because we learned the mistakes of Bangalore. Bangalore was a massive learning tool for us of what not to do. We had great content in between, but a lot of this was lost in the overproduction, thinking everything. Shooting with us is different than shooting with, say, my friends like Kunal or with Rocky or Mayur if shooting, because if you're sitting with Mayur, he's having a conversation, you put the camera on, he switches immediately because he's done it for 20 years. Right? So they have a switch that goes on and off, and they're pure production content mode. Our content is conversational. You can't like switch on and switch off. It's just like you build up a rapport, you talk, you chat. And that's how me and Shanky are. And then we also have a conversation with the chef or the owner or somebody sitting next to us. Holding one camera like this, I have not seen anybody that can hold a camera for that long. Like you can put one stick or 2 sticks, your two wides, but it's static, it's boring.
Yeah.
I like that little slightly wavy move. So for that we need to have, so one camera is covering. This is our size. Your wide is sitting far, trying to capture both of us, right? But we're big, but I'm also 6'5", and Shanky is 5'10". So then you need a over-the-shoulder shot from here. If you cover that, then you need an over-shoulder. So 3 cameras on us. You keep shooting us, you forget the food. Then we need a 4th camera over there. Yeah, for the food. Because we want that slow-mo sexy shots, all the shit we missed in the Bombay one. So in Bangalore, we had super sexy slow-mo shots and we had fuck all personal shots because we were like, nah, yaar, we have to save money on certain things. So it's a learning curve.
Like, how long does it take from, let's say, once the season is shot to the time that you start putting out these episodes?
All depends on, so if it's all client-based, right? Like we do a lot of client shoots. So Delhi, for example, we're working with Diageo. So we would come back and then it goes through multiple processes, right? And then the assistant director directs it together for about 2-3 weeks and then cut. I've already forgotten the terminology. There's certain terminology of where the rough cut is and the first rough cut and second rough cut. All of that jazz they will do. Then we go through multiple iterations. Only when it comes to what I call, it's on frame.io, right? On Frame.io, when I call version 3, I say, now show it to me. I don't like to see version 1, 2. I can't make head or tail.
Yeah.
I don't know how to stitch it,
Yeah.
right? And if I were to edit and sit on the edit table with like doing at night, I would be able to tell you what happened. But we're shooting so much, and each episode, which is either 12 minutes or 15 minutes, that's a 5-hour shoot, 6-hour shoot with 4 cameras. So all of that footage has to go through, and I have no idea how to stitch this shit. So version 3 is when I get involved, And then this is when everybody cries. Because when I get involved, I'm like, remove this, remove this, remove this. I don't like this at all. And then Shanky will jump in like, hey, there was this one shot. So that takes another week. Total a month, 2 months. And if a client jumps in, then that loop is never ending.
1 extra month, give or take.
So it all depends on the ability of the client. And usually it's not just client, right? Client has one guy. Then there is an agency in between. And then there is another minder who is trying to get paid between everybody. So everybody feels like they have a voice.
Client here is like, are they the location? Are they like the people
No,
that you
there's
partner
no-
with for the
No.
sponsor?
So there's a absolute, like, this is a do or die, like, line in the sand that we never work with a location. We don't take money from anybody like that. We will never
You don't
do
do paid reviews.
No. We'll burn the fucking place down. If anybody pays us, either we'll tell it or we put it immediately out on social media. These guys offered us money
Yeah.
to
Right.
shoot something.
Right.
I mean, we've been sued so many times.
Really?
Yeah, somebody like they'll mostly say a letter like that, don't put it out. We're like, oh, fuck. I'm like, I'm gonna make a copy of that and post that. So now people are scared of even that.
Right. Yeah. What is the client? Who is the
So,
client? exactly?
let's say I'll take you through an example. Let's say it's a major Alcobev company. So Alcobev company says, "Hey, we really like what you're doing. Let's work together." Or we pitch it to them and say, "Why don't you come in on, let's say, a Calcutta series, right? Which is something we're pushing now." So they say, "Okay, this is the TG we're looking at." And we're like, "Look, this lands perfectly in our TG. We have everybody from 18 to 45. Obviously, if it's Alcobev, let's say 25 to 45, 50. And all these major Alcobev companies, they have segmentations. So either you're premium, you're sub, or you're general market, mass market. And these are all at different price points. Anything from about 1,000, 1,200, 13, 1,400, 2,000 to up to 5,000. Luckily, we like to say we are most efficient at the higher ranges because of our language, the way we speak. But with Shanky and I, and when we are rolling around, we can also hit the other TGs. And then everything is sort of built around that. How you package the show is built around that. So the use of colors, use of fonts is slightly more mass. Graphic is more mass. There's a premiumization. So if you see Bangalore, we did a Best Bars of Bangalore series. So that was for Paul John. And Paul John has an aspirational brand. But at the same time, there was complex shoot because they had introduced something which is like fire. Oh, I forgot the name. Shit, I should know as a client. The product that's in the video.
We will put it up.
Yeah, it's like right here. Right? Yeah, graphic guy's here. Sorry, I'm gonna make you. So then it's complex, and then the packaging is right, and the timing of it is right. More premium stuff needs smaller fonts, slightly darker, and then of course color grading is extremely important in the kind of content you're making and which TG you're going for. Cinematic look, non-cinematic look. And this is stuff we really care about. And I don't know a lot of people in the F&B content space that has an entire palette series of just color grading and LUTs that we have created.
So the decisions that you take on the editing table are keeping in mind like who is going to be watching this video.
Decisions on the client and the intended actionable TG. So TG is TG. Our TG is who it is. But then we are also doing promotions to certain TG that the client wants us to do. So if that is going to be larger, is in the funnel, that's a larger part of it, then obviously the color grading and everything will be done accordingly. Yeah, all of these things are quite important. And we really drill down to, and you just get a sense of it. Our director is really like, he makes stuff like Zulfi and his team, our editors, they work with Amazon, they work with Sony, they work with Warner Brothers. So they understand this space. And then we built up goodwill in the industry. Like as much as we felt that we were getting completely taken to the cleaners by them, we have since made great relationships in the industry. So we're always like, hey man, like how do I do this? And some of the best editing companies in this country and the best post-production companies are some of our closest friends because they just like what we do. They're always astonished like how we pull this madness off.
I think you've really managed to build like a really die-hard community of people around the show, right? And even the group that you have, can we talk about that also, like the WhatsApp group?
FDC, yeah. So yes, so there's two sort of parallel worlds that meet ever so often. Obviously, it comes all from the focus content. That's sort of the genesis of everything that we've done. So, we have three primary verticals in the company. One is content, one is sort of content media sits in one, then events, which is another part, and community. So, for the community, what we did was we started with a simple process of creating a WhatsApp group, which was like fans and folks in the F&B industry that really liked what we did and they wanted to discuss. And most F&B places, right? It's everybody's kissing everybody's ass. It's a self admiration society. We're like, we're gonna make this slightly more raw, just like the show. And it caught on with the folks. Of course, there were some people that are upset. There are some people who are more performative about their empathy for the industry and saying, "Oh my God, this is not." I'm like, okay. Thank you for your advice. We're still continuing. It has since grown across the country. It is, I think, in 11 or 12 cities now. So it's a die-hard community of restaurateurs, chefs, food enthusiasts, writers, historians, anybody peripherally attached to the industry.
Was that planned from day one that, hey, we want
Not
to build
from
this
day
community?
one, but we always felt from an investor and previous world experience, we always feel like any company, any media company, any brand that you're building can be supported and buffeted by building a community around it. So if you see a lot of branding for the last, say, 10 years has been not just the product itself, but the ethos of it, the idea of it, the everything around the lifestyle around the experiential, tangible parts of that brand, right? So what does that mean in something like the focus? Going out and eating with us or going to a place that has been curated by us. Even if it's not, it's curated by the FDC. And what is the FDC? It's a community of like-minded people who are super excited to eat. So even here in Bangalore is possibly the most active, Bangalore and Hyderabad, the most enthu cutlets when it comes to that community. Every weekend, people are getting together to discover new restaurants. And they discuss it the way we discuss food on the show. And that has become sort of a way to discuss things. It's like it's an open conversation instead of "bahut acha kebab hai." So they will get into a little bit more detail and they all share it on the group. So this is great. I mean, I think it helps the industry in whatever meaningful way it can.
If someone were to start a community similarly, right? Are there any sort of actionable piece of advice that you could share apart from just being yourself? Or
Don't
doing
over
something
moderate,
different?
right? There are too many gatekeepers in this industry. Everybody feels like this is generally a thing with our people. We are a people of unsolicited advice. Malum hai ki nahi, gyan dena hai. And I feel that happens all the time with us. There's people who are very well meaning, but will give you unnecessary, unsolicited advice. Don't take all of their advice. Chart your own path, and if you feel you have the magic sauce, it might happen or it might not happen. If certain measures for what made it work was we don't allow promotions. You can't put posters on there. You can't make it a bulletin board, which is a daily battle for our admins. Koi na koi, and they will find ways to like, I'm not promoting, but new restaurant opening. We're like, yaar, tu kiska chutya kaat raha hai? Like, pardon again for this terminology, but don't teach your father how to fuck. Right? So yeah. So it's
Right.
Yeah.
don't. Like,
Yeah.
we know what you're doing. Right?
Right.
This guerrilla marketing shit ain't gonna work here.
Yeah.
However, if you feel like if you're bringing something new to the city, if there's a home chef that's trying to introduce something, we will champion it. We'll be like, hey man, why don't you guys go check this out? I'd like to check this out. And that keeps the other admins at bay and skirts our rules. And they're not defined rules, but it's just keeping it clean. So that is, don't let it become a bulletin board. Don't muzzle voices. Don't muzzle dissent. Right? The worst thing that happens on our community when it becomes, and it often does, and again, Bangalore sometimes gets into this, where it becomes an echo chamber. The minute it becomes an echo chamber, it just becomes an extension of you, and then you become a bully where you don't want to be a bully. At heart, both me and Shanky are anarchists. If we see a system, we'll work within the system, but we want to break the system and make our own. Call it ego, call it anarchy, call it mischiefness, but that's sort of the world we live in. And many times I've told the people, I'll shut this fucking thing down if you start using it as a bully pulpit to get shit your way. So if there's a restaurant that everybody likes on the group and other people don't, they are afraid to talk about it because they feel that they'll lose gravitas or they'll lose something within the community, which I think is too tribal, and I don't like that. So this is something that you should look out for, or anybody starting a community. Don't start believing your own bullshit, and don't drink your own product.
Does the community like translate to any sort of commercial value? Like,
Not
do
for
you
us. We
promote-
haven't, no. And I don't think we want to. We've thought about it. Like, I'm quarter banya, and that quarter banya in me is like, yaar, the most fungible asset is right here. And sometimes Shanky has an idea, and then together when we sit down, after the fourth drink, our philanthropic brain kicks in. We're like, nahi yaar, community ke liye. So don't, it's a very complicated thing. So we don't. I feel like if we do, it'll kill it. And it's big. It's, I think, one of the largest food communities in the country, at least the most active and impactful on revenue for everybody else except us.
Talk to me about that. Like, what are some sort of unintended good consequences of the community?
There's good and bad, but there's a lot of people that are creating content around it, right? I don't want to take their name. You'll figure it out on your own because it'll embarrass them. But some of them have been very sweet enough to say like, hey, I saw this on the Focus Dining Club in Bombay or Hyderabad, and I'm starting something similar. But I want to convert this to like, I want people to come out to a restaurant with me, and I want to commercialize it where my meal is free and I take a percentage of the revenue from them. More the merrier. I think it's fine. I hope as long as people don't abuse that relationship and don't become or try not to use the FDC or the brand to bully restaurants into giving them things that we always pay for. So a lot of good stuff like that, right? And then also just sheer research. Like people are creating content or getting to places that they would never have thought of because they watch the content or they watch the conversation on the food. We didn't realize till we got a call from the Thai government tourism board that we shot at Thonglo market, for example, that the numbers to Thonglo market from India have like multiplied
Because of
our
that video?
one episode.
Whoa.
Right? So they are trying to find the exact spot where we sat. They take pictures and put it on social media. So now the people that we had got food with, Chef Charlie helped us. Those guys on a weekly basis are just getting so much Indian business because they want to eat exactly what we ate. Yeah, so it can be very meaningful. And that's mostly because of the FDC and of course the content amplifies it, but the FDC talks about it.
Is that also happening with like other food creators? Like if they're going to a place and talking
sure,
about it,
I'm sure.
it's also impacting them.
Like Rocky and Mayur have changed the landscape of street food because they did for 17 years. There are places that exist and still today, if you go, there's billboards of them. And they went from a tela to a 3-story building. We've been lucky enough to impact life like that in Bombay. This kebab guy. Sorry, Shanky.
I was just
Squeezed.
I'm squeezing your head. You're fine.
You were fondling
Shanky would have had much to say about this because Shanky lives in Bombay.
Right.
But as Shanky would say, like, hey, sukara hai. Like one of the places we went to now is got multiple outlets. So yeah, there's been impact to a certain degree.
If you were to sort of boil down what goes into sort of being this influential in the food market, right? What would that one thing be?
So one, I don't know, and we are all, both Shanky and me are uncomfortable with the concept of being that influential. We sometimes feel it and it's awkward. We are very much the people that you see on our content, right? We are slightly uncomfortable with our perceived fame or perceived influence. So it's a complicated thing for me to answer. It's harder and harder as people recognize you more, especially in the F&B world, because a lot of what we built our cred on was able to criticize or critique places without holding back, which is becoming more and more of a challenge now. Because you fucking walk in, they're like, oh, fuck, these guys are here. Right? So even if like a lot of that is still what I write on Instagram or what I'll share on the FDC, because we don't shoot that much. So there is a palpable sense of responsibility that comes with it. And it's been a complicated battle for me, like very complicated battle. So you come in, for example, you go into city and then you put an FDC, hey, coming in, what's new, let me know. Everybody now wants you in the restaurant. But the minute they want you, they won't let you pay. If they don't let you pay, you can't. Like we have a simple thing. I am not going to write about you if you don't let me pay. Right? It just doesn't work like that. And there are a lot of people with lots of power that just want us there, and then magically we appear on their social media, right? Inadvertently or possibly planted. We can't ever mention them. Then we get shit from them like, hey, you never talk about us. I'm like, dude, you never let me pay. You're very gracious host, but we are not other content creators. This is the focus. We're like, पैसे नहीं लोगे तो content नहीं होगा. करेंगे नहीं, बात ही नहीं करेंगे.
Is that the reason why you haven't been uploading?
It is no. I mean, I would love to lie and say, yeah, you know, value. घंटा वेंचर बहुत महंगा है यार. Sponsor को बेच के. Then we got rid of our. We stopped working with our agent. So no, I would love to have grandiose things. I want my. Who doesn't want a bust of theirs outside a restaurant? But no.
Right.
That's the honest answer.
I was about to ask कि like what is the bigger reason behind show?
महंगा है.
हाँ महंगा है.
बस और क्या reality यही है जिंदगी.
How much are you spending per season? You said like close to 30 lakhs. It's probably more now, right?
Season, oh, fuck yeah. Right now, we can't put it out because it's a public tender. Pass. So yeah, we're trying to do the Northeast. I think it's almost done. But somebody very big that owns almost every company in this country has put their finger into this conversation. You may want to edit that later. I'll let you know.
Sure.
But yeah, somebody's put their finger in. You're like, यार तू तो पूरे country चलाता है. तू मेरा show क्यों ले रहा है?
Right.
So yeah, there is shit like that. We want to, but it's expensive. So we want to do the Northeast, like a landed cost with a 10% margin built in for us and another 5% built into for overages is almost at 2.5
CR.
Yeah, for 8 episodes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the Northeast, right? So you miss one shoot day, you're fucked. Because everybody has gone from Bombay, all the equipment.
And how big
is
would the
gone.
team be for this?
This is a smaller team. I think we are sitting at 17 people. You need security. You need all of the jazz. Then you have multiple teams shooting in multiple directions,
places,
right?
yeah.
And weather will fuck your happiness all day long. If the sun's too bright, you're fucked. If the sun's too dark, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So
It's too windy. Again, problem.
चलता रहेगा.
Now that we're talking about money, you mentioned that you created something for a channel or TV channel that like it's sitting somewhere on a hard drive. We'll get to that. But is it possible to create a show like yours without that much of an investment?
I'm sure
Can you do it
it's
for
a lot
cheaper?
smarter. I think equipment has become a lot better. People have learned and people have been in this space longer than we have, or they've leapfrogged technology and they've leapfrogged everything. People like us, we've been only for 5 years. These guys have been doing for 10, 15. Talk about popularity. Look at what Mark Wiens does. Or look
Mark
at
Wiens is phenomenal.
yeah. But Mark Wiens' whole shtick is one camera, one more person, and everything. He just loops his
Yeah.
head and goes, ooh, and it's really good.
True.
But he's a trendsetter, right? Like he's gone to places most of us have hoped to go to.
I think Migrationology, I would love to know the numbers, but Migrationology.com is probably one of the most visited food blogs in the world.
Possibly. I think it is.
Yeah.
There's him. Then there is, what's his name? The guy who does best food review. The guy with the red bandana.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sunny.
Correct.
Sunny just shot with our brand in Bangkok. Like we were there and he was shooting. Yeah.
Dude, his numbers are incredible. He uploaded a video like 3-4 days ago and it hit like some 6 million views. And I was like, that is just insane.
And I
He's
think
in Afghanistan, no?
Yeah.
That's why everybody wants to
Yeah.
know how he didn't get blown up as a white guy running around with a red bandana.
Right.
It's a fucking target if I ever saw one. Like they're the biggest, but Sunny's got in the super ultra large subscriber base category. He's got the largest film crew. Mark Wiens is just 2 guys. Then there's Trevor. He's about 2 people because he did exactly what Mark did. Sunny works with a larger crew, but like he's been on Joe Rogan,
Correct.
with that Nepali,
The honey.
Honey.
yeah.
Another content creator I really love and also a dear friend, also helped start Chinese Cooking Demystified, is Adam Goshak. He does OTR. Started with absolutely nothing and he does like massive numbers, like his history of the basmati rice, history of dal or something like that. Yeah, he's Bangkok based.
You've also done like these food vlog type things for TV shows, right? Like traditional sort of media. Was that jump something that you sort of foresaw when you were doing this? Like, how did that come about?
See, we made this show originally, so I have to go back to the other question of yours that, okay, no, that we're coming to later.
Yeah,
So
we'll come to that.
all of this was created like to get on. Shanky still calls it the world's most expensive PPT series we've ever done, right? I was like, let's get it on YouTube and then we'll get. So we always wanted to be on television, and maybe that was the wrong strategy. I don't know, because we haven't really killed it on there, but we did manage to get on, and people did discover us. And the fact is, like, if you go to Bombay and if you go to everywhere we go, all of the media companies know us very well. Like, they're to the point, like, the senior management is obsessed, and we love the fact they're obsessed, but they're not obsessed enough to give us the show, because India right now is in a hard position to go into tier 2, tier 3 markets where nobody understands my English. And that's sort of why we are in this middling category.
So, what was the experience of doing that Discovery show? Like, how did that come about? Like, did they call you? Did you pitch it?
No, we didn't pitch it at all. It was really funny. That whole thing, like everything in my life, a lot of things in my life is like, oh, so that just happened. We were pitching another show. They went back and forth. Sai Abhishek, who's now head of content for all of Asia, is a dear friend. And he was like, look, man, let's work together. Let's figure it out. So we pitched is how the industry works. They come back with other iterative processes, like maybe this will work. All these companies, most of them have two sides. One is originals, where you pitch something and then you own it or they own it together, or they just own it. And one is acquisitions, where you take existing content and they buy it for 10 cents to 25 cents on the dollar. So we were pitching both sides of the business. We had existing content. While one day in the office, we're also those guys, me and Shanky, like, I'm going to land up at your office. I don't give a shit whether you give me something. Ek coffee to pee le yaar. It was exactly that worked for us. We walked in and Sai was standing outside some Marvel-looking thing, and he was like, oh, you know, somebody, Delhi office has done this. You guys are perfect for this. Boom. Next day call. Third day later, we are the stars of the show. So I should have stayed home. It's just the right timing. It was meant to be more food. Production went into a different direction. It became a survival show of two fatzos. We haven't got season 2. It was successful to them. But it's one of the shows that got the most awards. Like, it was insane. We were flying all with Singapore, Taiwan, everywhere. It's like win, 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 win. For one second, we thought we were going to the Emmys. Not the case. Right. Yeah. And Shanky went to all of them, and everywhere Shanky won, he won. We won. I went to Singapore. We got nothing. We were awarded in 2 categories, and both our partner, because CNN is owned by the same, and that CNN guy we were the 2, like, sort of pseudo-American and American. We became friends, and then he swept both the awards sitting on my table. I was like, fuck you, bro.
But what has been the impact of that show on like YouTube? Are more people discovering your YouTube because of the show, or like I would imagine it's vice versa, right? Like a lot of people from your YouTube started watching that
Correct.
show.
Yeah.
Saying
by
that,
far,
hey,
the numbers on Discovery are huge, but the impact is low. With a lot fewer, like multiples of numbers smaller on YouTube, it's a lot more impactful, because it's they feel a lot more connected. They're not going to be connected to 2 fat guys running around in the snow not eating, right? They're like, oh shit, he's going to die soon. Oh, how is he not dead? What has he eaten in the last 3 days? You don't connect that deeply. Whereas, hey, this guy's out eating something I enjoy. I want to know, I like this biryani. What will this guy say about it? So those are our recall value episodes, right? Or discovering a completely new place. That's a lived experience through somebody else's view, and it connects you deeper to it.
has your life significantly changed after doing that show? Like, do you just walk into places? I think even with your content, right? Like you walk into places and people just know about you.
Yeah, Shanky's better at dealing with it. Like, he's more like, hey, what's up? I become a little awkward. It's getting better. It happens mostly at airports, because that's the kind of folks that are watching it, is like, who are going to fly. So airports, like, I can't go through a single flight where everything, and they don't know what it is. They're like,
Yeah, I've seen
I was like, yeah. I was like, and then, and sometimes they've seen me somewhere or think I'm somebody else, and you're like, yeah, and I don't feel like saying. There's a lot of times they want to take selfies, which I always find internally amusing, but it's mean. So there's a natural instinct when you meet somebody you like or you meet somebody suddenly, there's a certain nervous energy. So they're trying to say and the hands are shaking or something and you're like, okay, you just want to calm them. So they try to take a selfie and I'm 6'5". So what happens is in that shake, they've got their face in my chin. Or they get my face in their head. So I let it be. I'm like, TK yaar. I know it within 5, 4, 3. Say it. They come back. They're like, can we do another shot? Has it changed a lot? No. Does the food world treat you differently? Yes. So outside of this, you end up being on juries of things you can mention, you cannot mention. You become, you get quoted a lot for these things. So then people have a certain reverence. And of course, the community, the FDC, as sort of the caretakers of the FDC, there is, life has changed for sure. Like everywhere you go is like, hey, we'd like you to come over. Could you try this food? Let us know what it is.
Would you have any advice for someone who wants to do something like you, like a food show on YouTube?
Don't wait. Just get into it. Like,
Right.
don't overthink it. At least the starting. But once you've decided to go in, do some homework. You can't wing it. There are very few people that are completely naturally talented that can pull it off. And I don't know too many people like that. Not like I live in a community of creators, but I don't think I know. Jordan is I met through Shanky. But I think a lot of it is people just think about what they want to do and never really do. I think jump the gun. Phones are so good nowadays. You can create content on your phone. You look at like folks like Maroof, right, in Lucknow, who's making some of the most gorgeous content in the country, and he started making it on phones. There is Gauze Bazaz, who runs Spiceler. He was a middling show till he went to Kashmir and shot the Wazwan, which had like some 4-5 million hits immediately because he was covering something really special. His diction is beautiful, and he realized one thing: like he's nervous on camera, so it's all a voiceover. And it's gorgeous. Gets time, and then he goes into this Urdu of Ghalib, and it's gorgeous to listen to, and the patina of the show is such. So there are lots of people who don't need that much funding, don't need that much thing, but at least if you want to do it, start, iterate, and then find your niche. Yeah. Don't let the numbers intimidate you, because otherwise if you're chasing numbers, you're fucked. We had 78,000 or 79,000. I had to do my homework before you came. Like, how many subscribers do we have? Like, fuck all we know about our subscribers, right?
Right.
We love them. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
Right.
But we know that we're able to charge what we want and we get what we want because
Right.
we create quality for them.
When is the next season coming out?
Next.
Or is it coming
next,
out?
Next season coming. Yeah, like
When can we
Yeah, if
expect?
the Northeast happens,
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen unless Big Boy takes it away.
Right.
But
can you name who it is? We'll just like
No.
bleep it out.
two biggest companies.
Yeah,
on
but bro,
India.
like from the
Itna-
mention, I am like,
You
don't.
know, okay, I don't
we
know.
don't want to get flagged, bro.
Blame Gujarat. Don't say that.
Yeah.
गया show मेरा देखा गया. प्राइम मिनिस्टर को नहीं रोक सकते प्राइम मिनिस्टर कुछ नहीं कर सकते उनके बारे में हम क्या उखाड़ लेंगे.
So for
It is
context,
a real
we are,
thing, yeah.
For context, we are sitting in Sid's restaurant that you have started with a couple of partners.
With two good friends who came up with the idea. We actually met at a bar and we had an idea, or they had an idea about like, hey, X, Y, and Z. I'd never met them before, but I found them really interesting. And then just their questions were so on point. And then 1 month later, they called me and like, hey, what do you think of an idea of bringing restaurants into India from outside with certain brand equity? And so this is the first iteration. 1 year later, we are at an opening. So yeah, it's complex how to talk about it as now a restaurateur in the making. We are, I think, a week away from opening. Going through food trials. The noise you hear is from the kitchen. The team is sitting all around us.
You want to like tell us the name?
It's a place called Ban Pad Thai. It's a Thai restaurant that originated in, I think, 2016, in the first year of 16 in Bangkok. And in the first year, it was already on the Michelin list. And then it's expanded from all the way from Tokyo to Paris. It's about 17, 18 restaurants around the world. So arguably the most famous Pad Thai restaurant in the world. Because they got their Michelin first, I think, arguably for the Pad Thai. And there's no other Pad Thai brand that has grown as fast as Ban Pad Thai. For viewers' perspective, it's a elevated Bangkok-style street food. which has been brought. And we are staying very true to the Bangkok vibe and feel of it. This means it's spicy, it's herbaceous, it'll kick your fucking teeth in.
I think part of the team, I think, flew to Bangkok to get
Yeah, so we
trained and
flew
you
a
got-
lot of people from here to Bangkok to train over there. And a lot of people from there are right now inside the kitchen. So part of the Bangkok team is here, part left. We're supposed to open, and then we're like, all right, let's wait. So all the bugs and anxiety is now.
Right.
So one day I go to sleep super excited. Next day I wake up like, fuck, what are you doing? The idea is to make 10 of these. And then we're also bringing plans to bring 5 more brands. But dessert brands from the UK, ramen brands from Japan.
How much of you having made the YouTube content went into like the genesis of this restaurant? Like, do you think you would have done this even without?
No,
YouTube
not
being
at
there?
all. I keep telling people, don't ever get me involved in a restaurant. My first restaurant I opened when I was 19, that broke me. Then I owned a bar in Shanghai that broke my soul even further. It broke my bank account and my soul and possibly my girlfriend's heart. So yeah, at that time. No, it's just life lessons and stuff. It's an industry I've always been excited in. Without being part of the focus, I don't think this would have happened. They would have had not found me and
Right.
and the experience. And also, it's like in the end, this is a human relationship business, right? Like, how do you know the industry? How does the industry treat you? How do you treat the industry? All of this sort of all functions together. So me being part of that obviously helps the business to a certain degree. Also can be a problem. But I think as Garden and Smart, my partners are, they've thought this through. And I'm betting on their ability to bet on me. So I'm passing the buck on to them.
Right.
Yeah.
No, makes sense. Before we end, I realized that we didn't talk about your last episode, right? The one that you did.
The pain point, the suffering one.
Right.
Maybe somebody fucking buy this goddamn thing, right? Everything, my first episode that I ever wrote about anything to do with this space was an episode of the genesis of biryani. And I wanted to go deep into the roots. So like just in a quick thing, I wanted to start with a meal in Nizamuddin in Delhi. And next shot would have been in Mongolia. And then Uzbekistan. So basically this is the story of how the pulo becomes the palau, becomes the biryani, and then travels south. Story of invasion, story of travel, story of trade. So when I first pitched it to and I got into the Netflix office and they were like, whoa, this is great. Then they said, where all? They're like, oh, this sounds expensive. So I was like, all right, let's do what I call an Aukad play. Let's bring it down to, let's do regional. So we came up with a series called Whose Dish Is It Anyway? Which basically every region, every city, everything has this iconic dish. We started with Goa because I lived there. So it was called fish curry rice. And we wanted to get into the genesis of what fish curry rice means to different communities. So cooked in a Catholic home, in a Gauda Saraswat Brahmin home, in a tribal home, and then how the fishermen eat, and then how does a very fancy restaurant eat. Also talk about the conservation of fish, but all done in a humorous way. All done in our own sort of style of irreverence, gali, galoj, bakjodi, all sort of intertwined, but informative. The easiest way I could explain was it's like Grand Tour meets Bourdain meets the Focus. So this is the culmination of everything everybody has said that you guys remind us of, right? The Bakchodi of the Grand Tour, which is the newer version of Top Gear, where unfortunately I'm always called Jeremy Clarkson. But I guess I got angry vibes like him. Nobody knew us at that time. So we were like, instead of me telling them the ingredients of this cake, why don't I bake the fucker and let them have a slice? I don't know if it's the smartest thing. As of now, it hasn't proved out to be smart at all. We were like, okay, let's make it really good. And then it was in the middle of the pandemic. The only people who agreed to do it were like big production houses and one of the most famous cinematographers in India. He's like, let's do this. I was like, okay. So this was a set with 65 people.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it went on for a month. And we shot the 7 segments. Each segment was shot from the lens of a different director, but not in a very famous director. So an entire segment is shot like how Tarantino would shoot something, and a very David Finch style of shooting, and a Scorsese style of shooting. So each segment changes, color tonality changes, music changes, everything changes. This is like taking a drill and making a hole in one knee, the second knee, and the ankles, and
And
then
your
right
pocket.
and the pocket.
Yeah.
And then Netflix, like, this is very complex. We'll talk to you later. Right now, we are only making true crime.
Oh.
I hate the fucking word true crime in this country right now because everybody wanted to make true crime. And then there was this talk show that came on board, which, like, I couldn't believe they spent 200 some crores making. Kapil Sharma show, because that's at Netflix. And they're like, our budget is gone there. I'm like,
Gone.
David Finch. Fincher, sorry, I fucked up his name. David Fincher, Tarantino बना रहा हूँ मैं. ये बका stage पे क्या कर रहे हो? But
And how much did you spend making this? You made the pilot, right? I think.
yes, it's sitting on a hard drive. I call it the world's most expensive hard drive. It's well over lots of figures, lots of zeros, lots of zeros involved. Yeah.
Right. What would it take for you to put it on YouTube?
Or somebody stealing a kidney. I don't know, man. Like, it's like so much money's gone in. You feel like you can give it to the world. But all this at the same time, like, we're always in this conversation, either it's BBC or Sony or everybody's like, oh man, like, maybe we would be able to do it. But nobody's put out the purse yet. Also, what happens is once you put it out, that IP has become an acquisition target, not an original target. So the difference between original and thing is, like, let's say you sell it for, if it takes 1 CR to make, if you sell it for 1.5 to 2 CR, your purchase price on acquisition will be 10 lakhs, which is a 90% write-off. So that's too painful.
I'm just curious. How do these studios value like a TV show? Like what
on your
makes
desperation.
Right.
So the
They
lowest
can
deal
smell
that
it. They've
they
been
can
doing it
get.
for a long time. A lot of it comes down to sales. So when you're making originals, you have to pitch it. You have to work with the brand. So there's actually 3 different ways to do it. One is originals, where, let's say, Sony puts in the money. They love it. They know they'll sell, and they'll package a few brands into it, right? They know this face will pick up by a FMCG, which only wants safe, standard Sati Savitri. Then there is brand solutions, where you build a show around a brand. So you would create like a show like MasterChef, in which Viva will be there, and then your oil companies will be there, your whatever, and they're constant like dun product shot. So they build it around that, and then they go sell it, and then it's a product. Can't say MasterChef because that's an existing IP, but they will create a show for it, and we do that. We do that for a partner like Warner Brothers. We'll create a show. We'll be like, okay, we need 5 chefs. We need this sort of template. And because of our approach and our relationship with the chefs, they would do it. And the other one is acquisition, where it's just filler material during the off hours of the OTT, not OTT of the channel. And then, of course, they have OTT D+, or Sony has its own live. So that's where it sits on for like a 6-month duration.
So what's the ROI for, let's say, the OTTs? Like, is it how many people are watching it? Is it that
Yeah,
hey,
they go
we're
through
able
something
to...
called a BARC, which is India's rating system for content, and how many people have watched it on a particular time. I've looked at the back end of the math of it, and I find it deeply flawed. I can't, I'm not supposed to look at the back end of it or be able to understand it, but we do. So it uses very strange mathematical models. It's beneficial to some brands or some major studios, but yeah.
Yeah, because like I would imagine that the benefit of a YouTube show is that the numbers are very sort of clear cut, right? Like, hey, you
Yeah.
can attribute that, okay, 100 people have watched my show.
Yeah.
But on like an OTT, how do you attribute that to, let's say, the revenue, which is someone buying a month-long subscription?
Yeah, so it depends on how many people have. So they can track how many people have subscribed based on that, based on when the as soon as the subscription is turned on. So what is the gateway to subscription, right? So they'll go and they say, oh, I got to pay for this. So then obviously that has a certain percentage of the rev is attributed to that. This is just my thinking of it. I really haven't dug deep on how OTTs work, because it's a very opaque sort of world. But generally it's from content subscription. I mean, all their revenue is from subscription, right? And what's happening is, and the reason they are picking up content which is for the masses is because they're trying to introduce low package, like the $2.99 or $1.99 packages to middle India. Hence the Kapil Sharma show or something
And
like that.
sell at like a scale.
Sell at scale, right? So there are 100 million viewers or something like that, as opposed to
A show.
2 million views for a show like ours, which only would be for a premium segment. And they'll, as it is, most of them will be paying.
They'll already have the subscription.
Already
so
have the
like
subscription. They could possibly convert for us, which we did for I Should Have Stayed Home. But it's not mass. Yeah. Mass is where everybody wants to go to. Understandably. So everybody's trying. It's the Wild West when it comes to driving OTT. OTT has suffered. We are still deeply analog as a country when it comes to content.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. Shanky says thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Shanky, as well.
Oh, wait. This looks better? No, that looks like
No,
the back end.
Yeah.
Right. But cool. I think that's the part.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you.
the part.
Thank you,
That's the
guys.
part. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Adil, your co host at The Content Playbook. And if you like that episode, you should definitely check this one out.